I should have put on there that I will visit with you just a smidgen about the tour that I did with the Flint Hills Regional.
The ARPA funds? Oh, you did a tour of these.
For the building, yeah, brownstone stuff.
Okay.
And it's really short because I had no cooperation, so I only had cooperation from one owner. So it's called Move On.
I didn't think I reformatted it like that. Yeah, reformatted it like
Maybe I
that.
had to get a. I need to read it.
Weird,
Magnifying glass.
Yeah, that thing.
weird margins.
Okay.
Change 2 words in formatting is what you said. So there's your format.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Turn it off.
Okay, it is August. August 9th. Tim?
Here.
Annie?
Here.
Brett?
Here.
Does anybody want to make any adjustments to the agenda?
There's just a typo on Justin's name on the front page.
Oh, bless your
On the
heart.
minutes or?
Oh, sorry, not the agenda. I'm jumping ahead.
Good Lord.
I'm ready to go through the motions
I have
here.
just a few late issues that I need to point out real quick.
Okay, do you want to add them to where?
Let's go ahead and do it department reports, because it's just gonna be real quick. I'm just gonna throw something out there at you and then we can move on. It's not gonna be
all
a
right.
for long discussion.
All right. I would also like, just add that I will tell you about the regional brownstone walk around that we did Friday. It'll be brief.
Then I move to approve of those 2 additions.
Second.
All in favor? Do we have any changes to the minutes? Would you like time to review?
I move to approve.
Okay, you've already made the correction in spelling that Annie pointed out earlier.
Second.
Second, all right, we have a motion to approve. All in favor? 1, 2, 3.
I move to approve appropriation ordinance 1489.
I'll second.
Have a motion for appropriation ordinance 1489. Tim?
Yes.
Annie?
Yes.
Okay. Public concerns or comments tonight? Mike Bone.
All right. Let's jump off on this. Few updates that are out of the normal operating procedure. Sewer pump at the lift station. We had a float switch that was acting funny that quit. Alexander pump came down. Troubleshooted that for us. We thought it was a latching relay, something, and it ended up being the float switch. We got that all fixed. We do have 1 pump that's down. They're redundant pumps, 2 submersible pumps in the lift station. One's working fine. The other one is running. It's not pulling any amps. We haven't pulled it yet, but we don't know if the impeller sheared off, is worn down completely, but we're running on 1 of 2 redundant pumps, which is no big deal. We're going to get that pulled here shortly and see what's going on with that. Don't really want to spend a lot of money with that. That's part of the sewer project that's coming up. If it's something that we know what's wrong, and it could be on the other pump. If our last pump quits and we could use a part to fix the next pump, we're going to kind of go that route. We don't want to spend another couple $1,000 on rebuilding just the bottom end of a pump if we don't need to, where that stuff's going to be addressed with the sewer project. Been a lot of locates coming in for the sewer engineering for the sewer project. Kramer's finally started putting those in. They thought right after the first of the year, which would have been awesome. They started putting them in the last part of June, right before the 4th of July. I told them they're just going to have to wait until we slowed down, but they've had a guy coming out GPSing the gas and the water lines where we're locating the gas, guessing where the water lines are, because those weren't put in with tracer wire, so they can get GPS coordinates on everything for their final plans that will be let for bid for the contractors. We had a high service pump at the water plant fail on the VFD motor short circuit code. The motor was burn up. We're talking the hour meters. I can't 50,000 hours probably on this pump on the hour meters. Not uncommon. Topeka Electric Motors rewound the pump motor. We put it back on. It ran for about a week and a half through a short circuit again. We had Darren Alexander come back out and look at it. Tested the motor, the insulation, the winding tests out good. He reset the VFD, ran it 2 or 3 times, cycled it. It was fine. The very next time that it kicked on automatically, threw a motor short circuit again. Told Jim not to reset it. Darren's coming back down to look at it. We don't know that if when the motor short circuited the first time it caused an issue somewhere else. Could be an issue with the VFD, could be issue with wiring, could be a fluke deal. We don't know yet. As far as what Topeka Electric did for us, we're all good as far as I know. He's going to troubleshoot through that. We are redundant on that as well. Those are the pumps that send the water from the plant to town to the towers. High service. If there were to be, in which when we were down and having the other one rebuilt, checked with Alexander's, if for some reason our second pump, our redundant pump fails, they've got ideas in progress. They have stuff on the shelf, a way we can pump water to town. That's always the thing about Alexander. Worst case scenario, if we got to redneck something up to make sure we send water and we don't lose pressure, they'll do it for us. So that's good. We're going to get into that a little more and figure out what's going on. American Rescue Plan money, working on some more water improvements. I'm going to try to work on that this week, which is a great week to do it. So hot, get in. Think about other things we could possibly apply for the extra county money. I've talked with Dave with LWID. He's talked to his board about them possibly piggybacking on their percentage for water plant improvements. We're not talking new plant yet. That's probably too far out and too much engineering to go for that. 2024, I think, is the ending of spending that money. Wouldn't feel comfortable allocating anything for that, but some things that we've been talking about. Improvements, backwash pump, new turbidimeters, they're going out of service here really shortly. As far as what we have, what Hawk can service, stuff that we have to have for state compliance. Even LWIB picking up their percentage of that, applying for that separately, just 2 entities applying for the same thing for the greater good. We're going to work through that, get some numbers together and talk to Jim McGregor and get that put through and see what we can get on that. The money that we are guaranteed to get, I don't know. I know it's been talked about other purposes. I know the county's been talking about other purposes for that money other than water. I know wastewater is a possibility. Haven't heard any updates on that. As far as buildings and this and that, I don't know. But I've had some ideas on that. I touched briefly on it probably a couple of months ago when it first came up. Automatic read meters, there'd be new ultrasonic meters. Highly accurate. The reading time would be down. Zenner has a program that DCMB Supply out of Pratt's gonna quote us. They're working on that now with our addresses and stuff for a direct read system. And I say direct read, it's not like you directly read it, but when it comes to meter reading time, Stephanie pushes a button in City Hall. Everything's close enough that it repeats. It reads the meters. It does a daily update, records everything, anything out of it reports to you. So if somebody uses, 117 gallons a day, plus or minus every day, and then one day they use 800 gallons, when it does its deal, it's gonna tell you, hey, this person might have a leak, something, just stuff
That
that
would
you
be
can
nice to
provide to
know.
the customer.
I'm sure some of our people would
Especially,
appreciate it.
I mean, if you just don't know, and then people don't run 50,000 gallons down under their crawl space or something, but.
Well, that fits right into that money, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is all completely.
Yeah.
And the money that we are guaranteed to get, I'd already thought about, the backwash pump at the water plant, the turbidimeters at the water plant, this meter read system, stuff like that, which will probably exhaust that. We got a ton of extra money. They have a steering committee and try to get our name in there on some more for some other stuff. So we can do stuff on our distribution here in town. We can do stuff on the plant, which benefits LWID, Osage 8, Obansi 1. I know Obansi 1, they need anything they can get as far as their infrastructure and piping and this and that. It's old, it's leaky, all that. I think they're looking at doing that. Osage 8, I don't think qualifies to apply for a whole lot in our county because they're multiple counties. They're Shawnee, Osage, Obansi, maybe even some Lyon County. They're a huge district. So, but anyway,
Yeah, they can transfer. The county can transfer to any entity.
right.
They just may not have the political pull to do it.
Right. No, and that's what, like Dave and I talked with LWID. If we can get together and, say the way our contract reads, LWID is responsible for 23% of capital improvements or capital costs for our water treatment plant and whatever's covered in the contract. We can break down these numbers and we can apply for this, and LWID can apply for the same thing for their percentage. And it looks like two entities going for the same thing, more population at the lake, that type of deal. So we've fallen short with the county before, but we've been talking to them. And, Jim McGregor, you guys have met him. He knows his stuff. He does a really good job. He's very thorough. And
County doesn't have their own water system. They don't have their own sewer system.
no, and we have the largest water treatment system in the county. Maple Hill makes their own water. McFarland makes their own water. Alma makes their own water. They're very small systems. They serve their systems. We make our own water. We serve LWID, Rural Water 8, Rural Water 1. We make a lot of water in retrospect to what the rest of the county
You say
does.
the ARPA funds don't have many other options other than it's easy to get out to people.
And the county is trying to get some variance on possible building improvements, medical coverage, stuff like that, some improvements which could benefit us as well. Stuff that our fire district and our fire board, which I'm the secretary of the Obansi County District 5 Fire Board, we've been fighting for quite some time, that never got any traction, actually caused some problems in Alma with the governing bodies, and we backed off of that, and it might have gained some traction just for that fact. And we're revisiting that. Actually, I have a meeting tomorrow with a couple of people that are going to come down and look at some of our facilities, our fire department facilities, and look into that. I don't know if they'll ever get approval to spend that money on that, but once again, the greater good, it would be good for our part of the county as far as medical coverage. But and they might have some other avenues for funding. I don't know on that. But too much on that. I will keep it short. Gas department, South Rectifier Road, 390 down at the gift shop. We've had some cathodic issues. We discovered that. I discovered it shortly before our gas inspection. It was addressed during our gas inspection this last year, our pipeline safety inspection. We had low CB, which comes up and even covers a Harveyville border station where we meter off to Harveyville. I'd ordered anodes. I talked to a corrosion technician with Tallgrass Pipeline, which we used to be bonded to. They come across us. It's really bad there. They depress us on our protection. We're not going to get into all that witchcraft, how that stuff works, because I still don't know. But talked to him. I was waiting on anodes to get installed. He did a survey. They were depressing us greatly here about 3 weeks ago. He bonded us back up. Let me know that he bonded, which makes a critical bond for us, which I have to monitor every 2 months for a critical bond, which it didn't go for 2 months. We got our anodes in. We installed some anodes last week on our line. This is above ground, below ground, above ground, below ground steel we got south of town. I went and unbonded from Tallgrass. The numbers look good. Called him, talked to him for a while. He said, let's wait a couple of weeks. I'll come up. He's got some surveys scheduled up. I said, well, the numbers look great both ends. He goes, well, it might take 2 or 3 weeks for this line to unpolarize from being bonded, and it gets this current on it, and it takes a while to go off. And this guy's NACE certified. Like I said, it's witchcraft to me how it works. I know what the numbers should be. I know what makes the numbers work, but he's got some surveys coming up. He's going to come up. He's going to hook up to our rectifier. He's got interrupters so we can do instant offs. He's got extra equipment that we don't have that he can hook up to our rectifier. We can go up and down the line, do a bunch of tests after everything settles from being bonded with his system, and give us some ideas. We think the ground bed I adjusted the rectifier, and what happened, he said he thinks the ground bed's deleted, our south rectifier ground bed. The north one I had to bump too, so I don't know if this is happening at the same time. We have 2 rectifiers, north and south, left in the system. They were put in the 60s. They're about 60 years old. If the ground bed's deleted, done deal. Can't provide protection anymore. Having a new ground bed built is quite expensive. I would hope that pipe replacement would happen sooner than later. I'm not talking like a year, maybe 2, but if we can put some anodes on the line in conjunction with the rectifier still working as much as they can, which he suggested, and get by for another 5 years, then maybe look at this. I don't want to spend $20,000 having a ground bed rebuilt and then we replace the pipe in 10 years or 5 years, because it was, it lasted 60 years the first time, and we have way less steel pipe on those rectifiers than we used to. Excuse me. But this guy's going to consult. He is not employed by us. He works for another pipeline. Nothing that he says has any bearing on what we do other than what I take from it. So, of course, he's not a contractor. He's not getting paid for it. But it's very good that he's willing to come up and do this, because this guy really knows his stuff. And we could hire, like Black Hills Energy, something like that, to come up. But he's willing to come up and do it and talk about that. So that will be something. We're in compliance with KCC of what we did. Once I found it, you have to start remedial action within 30 days, which we started. I ordered anodes. Took a while to get them because everything takes a while. And we're documented out on what we're doing there as far as getting protection back on that pipe to avoid corrosion. So the only other thing I had that we didn't get on is an agreement with Harveyville. Back to the gas adjustment, which you guys have. The KCC approved our joint motion to recover $2.54 per unit of gas, which is for every customer that we have, as well as Harveyville. The deal with Harveyville being a wholesale customer, basically, their usage the month of February for the ridiculous price was 1,755 MCF, which is units, million cubic feet, whatever, 1,000 cubic feet actually. And our actual cost for that month was $117.075 per unit. Their maximum liability to Eskridge, and this is basically to state that Harveyville's maximum liability will be this amount, and they absolutely owe us this amount, no more, no less. They owe it. They don't owe any more. Just to put that in writing, $205,466.62. This is the third amendment to our original gas purchase agreement in 1995, the most recent purchase agreement. There are 2 previous amendments to that, which were for rate increases and decreases, actually, one of them for them. Agreement shall be 10 years. Anything that they wish, if they add more money, they want to pay us extra just to be done with it, to lower their customers' rate, we will pay directly to the state of Kansas loan that we held for that purpose, to cover our cost and their cost on that gas. And that's basically it.
We have interest on our loan, correct?
0.25%.
Do
Yep.
they have interest already?
Yep. There, and this will be trued up yearly by the KCC. Yep, they're paying their absolute portion of our payment, our semi-annual payment with interest. So that's figured off of that with interest.
Side note, when is the last time we've had a rate case on
Whew.
this price?
Long time. 2003. There's an amendment in 2000. Well, Harveyville's amendment was 03. Might have been 01, actually.
I don't mean with Harveyville's, I just mean with our.
No, I'm just looking at this knowing, because one of them Harveyville was getting charged quite a bit. And then there was another amendment that dropped it back down to more of a wholesale aspect because they were getting hit pretty hard on what we were charging them just for transportation. Now, our transportation is fairly cheap in retrospect to what we pay Southern Star, stuff like that. Basically, we're a transporter of gas and then sell for a wholesale cost.
So what do you need here? A motion to approve?
Yeah, and this is, I sent this to Dustin. I'd sent him the original draft that I had. Todd revised this one a little bit. I sent this to Dustin today. It's a motion to approve. If they have any issues, they'll come back to us. If you guys are good with it, then if they're good with it, we can just go ahead and sign. It's our mayor and our clerk and their mayor and their clerk is what it needs. So we can execute it any time if you guys approve this document. But it covers us and it covers them.
I move to approve.
Thank you.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
All right, I'm done.
Let's see.
Thanks.
Stephanie, do you have anything to report?
I don't have much. So you guys saw, touching on what Mike just talked about on your bills, that gas recovery cost, it's showing up on the bills as GR. And I tried to put a little message down at the bottom. I don't know if people have gotten their bills yet. They were,
Get ready.
yeah. So that'll be on there for 10 years. Like he said, KCC will audit it and look, might go up, might go down, but working on getting bills in with that actually on the back of the card with the little abbreviation that tells you what it's for. But as of right now, I'll just try to put that message on the bottom of the bill. So I don't know if there's any questions about that. I thought there was something else, but
It wasn't hard to
kind of
read,
the
so.
same thing. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's it.
Real quick, that's something to think about. If you guys are approached on the cost, yes, $2.54 on top, which is about what our markup is anyway. You know, we talked about percentages. If it's 20, 30% higher, you know, 30% of $4 is a lot different than 30% of $10 or $20 or $50. Natural gas prices are trading very high right now. Spot
Yeah.
prices are high. Heat waves around the country have kept that daily market price for peaker plants high. Very possible that's going to continue in. Dixie with KMGA, she's had a hard time getting people to come to the table. She's been trying to, you know, market gas for this winter, gas for this fall, get contracts in place, and she's going out to all these suppliers, and they're very reluctant because they watch the market and they don't want to enter into some November and December pricing till they kind of see how it's going. Which I haven't talked to her within the last 3 weeks, but it's been an issue. Gas prices this winter will probably be higher than they have been in quite some time. As far as that, I mean, natural gas right now, daily market's trading over $4 in MCF. 4 or 5 months ago, it was $2.30, $2.50. I mean, it's going up. So, well, a portion of this increase is going to be just what it has to be. Unfortunately, our piece on there to recover this is going to be there as well. But just for your knowledge, if people say it, and we can always get more information if we need to make an actual information sheet.
So
But
there, basically, there's not a shortage of gas right now. We're just talking about profit and.
no, it's supply and demand. There is
Supply
no
and demand.
shortage of gas.
That's
It's
right.
like the oil market right now. You know, people are watching that. It was above 70. Thank goodness it's come off this week. I'm not invested in oil. I like to see lower gas prices. So, you know, that helps a lot when it comes off, but it's bouncing and it's not affecting the end user. It's just affecting the guys that are trading it. It's not really affecting what the gasoline costs, stuff like that. It's very minimal compared to the volatility in the oil market. The natural gas market's the same deal. I mean, you're based off of what you're contracting, what your deals are, what you can make with what suppliers. They control the output, and they're very smart about that right now. The heat waves help. Peaker plants firing up. They're buying that daily gas that wasn't contracted. And it's the energy market's really hot right now. It's very bullish, and it's probably going to remain that way well through the winter. So
I hope we can pay back the favor someday.
Do we need to visit the idea of a rate case?
No, I don't think so. I mean, in the future, yes, because there is pipe we need to replace. There's things we need to do. As long as we can recover our cost of this loan in a year's time. I mean, our reserves are decent, which we wanted to keep those. We didn't want to deplete our reserves to lower this loan amount. We took the full loan amount for 0.25% interest because the reserves are there for maintenance, for emergencies, stuff like that. I mean, we're making decent money. Eventually, we'll probably have to, just because it's been that way for a long time. But for the next year or two, I don't foresee that, as long as we don't fall behind and have, if we have a year with super, super low consumption, really warm winter, we don't recover, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 of this loan payment that we will have to pay out of our reserves. And then the next year, it's always adjusted in the rears. Okay, well, you guys sold less gas, and we have to bump our recovery rate. I mean, we're on the hook for that. But I mean, it's something to look, year or two. I don't foresee that.
That's good news.
Is that something we should give to everybody in a letter, or do you think that's, just
I
explaining?
mean, it was in the paper. Justin
Okay.
did an interview. Stephanie talked to somebody, got an email. I wasn't comfortable with the questions and how people take me sometimes. Justin did a very good job
I didn't
talking
realize
to
that.
them.
I missed
And
that.
I didn't realize the article was going to be lumped into other utilities, and especially bigger utilities as well. And it wasn't bad, but it was just one of those deals. Our KCC deal got through before, Kansas Gas is still looking, Evergy's still looking, because they got hit by it too with the gas prices and the bigger plants and all that. So we kind of caught that first. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
KCC, which we're the only jurisdictional municipality in the state. We're a very, very small fish in a huge pond with them. So, but no, they were great to work with. No
Mhm.
issues. Their legal staff, everything, awesome. They did it, filed the motion, and the way it looked where it went through, the commission had no issues and went right through. So
Helped I stay with a $20 bill there.
it did. It did.
He's joking. All right.
I did have one thing, sorry.
Uh,
This is what I was gonna mention. I am working with Jim McGregor and someone from the state on getting us an LMI survey, FYI. So I have a meeting with them this week, I think this Wednesday, and they're going to talk about the process of, yeah, oh, I was like, do you have a question?
No, I'm just
Yes.
happy.
Of getting us an LMI survey so that way we can
So
go for more
we
grants.
can't just use the old one like I asked.
So there
No.
is some kind of process with it getting tabulated. And I think that's what they're gonna discuss with me. I don't know, cause before you guys went around, did the survey, and then it was turned into City Hall, and then that was sent to, I believe, Garrett or Donna, who tabulated it, that said that Eskridge meets the low to moderate income. So that's the part I think that,
So how long do you think it'll be until we get them?
I don't know. So I'll ask her on Wednesday and see. Yeah, but it's a start. Hopefully not long, it's good news. Anyway.
All right, Annie?
I don't have much. We're just working on Fall Festival right now. So if you want to be a vendor or sponsor us or be in the parade, now it's time to start prepping. I guess Facebook would probably be the fastest way, the Eskridge Fall Festival page, to get details and find out how to get a hold of us for that stuff. I'll probably have more at next meeting after we meet, because I don't have official decisions on some of the stuff we've talked about. So that's it for me. It's your turn.
Okay, thank you. Sally?
Well, let's see. Stephanie and I sent some letters out about some yards needing mowed. I do know one was mowed. I need to go double check on a couple other things around in the letter that I put there. Got one that we have not heard from, seen any action. So I think we probably ought to go a little farther on it than just Stephanie and I sending letters out. So that's one down on the main street here.
Yeah.
Cynthia has notified Stephanie, told her that she is working on the overgrown grass and getting the multiple unused vehicles out of the yard. She just asked us to bear with her and try to get
Pass
that
that to
done.
my daughter.
So I'll keep an eye on that and see what she's doing
Sorry.
on that. I've had several calls about feral cats. I don't know what we need to do. We've got some people that are getting tired of feeding them.
Don't
Where are they feeding them?
Yeah.
Wow. You
Don't-
feed a stray cat and it comes back? Is that what you're saying?
Don't take the two from my house because they do come inside.
That's
just
the problem.
Take their collars off.
That is the problem, and this is what I told them. They've asked me to come and start trapping them.
They're not
I
my
said,
cats,
this
are
is the issue, guys. I don't know whose is pets. I don't know whose is feral. I know we've got some that's already spaded and neutered. They asked me, what about at least catching the males? Well, here we go again. I will probably catch everything in there and that too. So I told them I'd bring it up to you guys. I don't know what else to do.
My question would be, since I'm one that has spayed 67 cats and neutered them in town,
Yeah.
what are they gonna be doing with the cats that I spent my money on to make sure that the problem
See, and we did that
This
program
is,
with
and
Brett.
most
too.
all of them are
To keep those-
tattooed, right?
Right.
No,
No?
not now.
See, I have to
He
look
doesn't
and
cut
They
your
were
see.
all
ears or
tattooed.
anything?
They are not
Isn't-
now.
Isn't the theory that there's always going to be the same number of feral cats out there?
That's it.
You neuter them, and they reach a trap. They reach a
They do
kind of a steady
travel.
state.
I mean, yeah, they do. I mean, I know that for a fact because I've had several end up at our house.
Yeah,
And
they,
that,
I
so
don't know
I
if
don't
there's
know.
anything we can do about that.
I don't think so either.
Because,
They're way less than, I mean, just me being around town is
Yeah.
way less
Oh,
than
yeah.
there was.
Yeah.
That's
He's
true.
got
That's
a
what I was
massive
thinking.
issue in our
I
yard.
mean,
if they don't
I mean,
want
it used to
to,
get
they
kind of
should.
creepy if, like, you see a pack of them, it's like, oh my God, where did those come from? But it's not like
I'm
that.
sure you have issues with them showing up and eating.
No, I don't
them
feed my
outside.
cats outside.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't
I don't
feed
feed
stray
mine
stray
either.
cats either. No, mine come in and out, but they won't keep their collars on. Is the problem. So they only really travel around the neighbors' yards, so I think they know
I
them.
think I pretty well kind of know yours.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I mean, there's really not a whole lot any of us could do. I mean, like Brett, yeah, he's neutered and spaded a bunch of them, and
Well, and those are the
I
ones we want
was.
to keep them down because they're their territory. They take care of that territory.
Yeah.
They keep other cats from coming in.
yeah,
And besides,
so
and give the fox some time. They'll take care of it.
Yeah, but if we keep
And I
shooting
don't like
foxes,
that.
then we don't have. we have
who's
more
shooting
cats.
foxes?
Well, I had 3 at my house and somebody came and told me, guess what? They're all dead. We shot them all. So they're gone.
We had kids
That's actually
at
illegal.
the co-op
Oh,
and people
yeah.
ran them off.
Yeah,
What?
I mean,
What's
I
your-
can't even trap them. I gotta call the game warden to come and trap them.
At the co-op.
There was one in the back porch of City Hall
But
when I
yeah,
was watching the videos.
The one
Um,
at my house.
I've seen plenty of them eating out
I
of
think
the
there's
top
a lot
with
more
cats.
than what you would think.
So I'm not.
My in-laws have them up by their house too.
I know they're around. I mean,
They were eating squirrels in my neighborhood, which was making my neighbor across the street extremely happy. Because they were bothering
I mean,
me.
About-
They come running through my yard with two hanging out of their mouth and running. So
So,
You're not shooting fox. They're doing their job. I don't know who is shooting fox.
shoot any.
well,
It's a-
I don't
do
even know
know-
any guns.
Word of the
When would
flag.
he have time to just shoot anything?
No. they're
I
not.
do know that it
That's
is.
0
I've already
guns.
talked to the game warden
I
about
gave
it.
them all up.
Okay.
I have to have him come and trap them. I can't even trap them.
Lost them in a boating accident.
Lost them in a boating accident.
That's where all my guns went.
So,
Really?
That's for the feds, right?
that's basically it.
With all this weird facial recognition crap. you
Did you take care of that one dog I told you about?
Yes, it is.
Had a good.
How's the
Talked to
pending
them.
cases going along? Don't we have pending?
I just talked about them. What other pending cases?
What about the people who are the dog ranch?
The dog ranch.
Mm-hmm.
We,
No pictures yet?
I've got some pictures, but I still got the same 4 dogs. You and I've actually talked about them.
Okay.
and that. So we're trying to, I gotta get a fifth or sixth picture of a different dog. Otherwise, they're pretty well
Got it.
legal
Understood.
in that.
What's the limit?
Isn't it?
One place it says 4 and one place it says 5.
Either way, I think they double that, at least.
So I've had people come up and say something verbally to me, and I've asked for pictures. And that.
Seems like everybody has a cell phone nowadays. You'd think they could get your pictures.
Mhm.
Too many dogs, too many cats.
So, and I need to check on the other issue with the others running loose around town and causing a chaos a couple weekends ago. I need to check on them. Yeah, but I've been gone and dealing with the sick husband, so things have been a little hectic right now at my place.
I appreciate that, Sally. I don't know if they're aware, but I think.
Well, you guys are gonna hear, Ron's got heat exhaustion. He got a heat. 2 weeks ago, was on the verge of a heat stroke. We're slowly bouncing back. Edwin and I are gonna start jumping in the truck and be with him through the whole shift.
We appreciate that, Sally. You just do the best you can.
So, I think that's it.
Thank you. Review purchase request work orders.
You skipped over a couple items there.
Oh,
Oh, Tim.
One of them is yours.
They
oh,
can,
I'm sorry. I put that down here.
The
I put it in
brownstone.
the wrong place. The brownstone, we walked, that was the walk that I did with, people from the Flint Hills Regional Council. I said it.
Yeah.
And Jim McGruger was here, and I really like him. He had a lot of ideas, and you could just see him taking mental notes. Becky Frank was able to meet with us, and discuss her needs and stuff. This brownstone one isn't what I was hoping it was going to be. But they said that also they had more. They kind of gather information on different grants all over there. This brownstone one is one they were interested in the school because they thought the school still had asbestos in it and maybe lead paint. And they have oodles and gobs of money that they can get a hold of to help do the study and remove that stuff. But we've already had that done. The asbestos is out of the schools.
I don't think
George Anshu took it out.
At the new school?
Old school.
Oh,
But they couldn't.
I didn't think they
Did they
finished
work
that
in
job.
No, they were not able to go in there because that's the other thing I was going to say is some people couldn't make it. I did talk to them about what you want to do with your building. They think that's a great idea. So good luck with that. And
I took
they,
that day off to come and then had to go to town and get papers and it made me over an hour late, so I missed it.
well, we talked a lot. They looked at our building, the IGA building, and they were quite aghast at that. But either way, mainly what they were talking about was being able to provide information for and pay for up to $40,000 to help sell or buy a building. They could pay for those studies and stuff. And so it wasn't quite what I was hoping it was. I was hoping it was going to be direct help to owners to do stuff. But they do have some of those grants. She sent me something tonight that I'm going to have to read. They sent us information on stuff. So we just have to use our contacts with them, and they were willing to be available. And she saw your park drawing up there.
Mm-hmm.
Jana Williams did, and I was wondering if she wasn't going to go and hire you. She was just
Well, I didn't draw it.
Yeah, I know. Stephanie
Sure
showed
you did.
Stephanie showed her the different.
Well, she was asking about who was writing grants, and I believe, so is their service, we just pay the yearly fee?
Yeah.
And then we're able to apply grants through them, right?
Yeah,
Which you guys
you can
would
use them as a
fall
reference, and
under that, I would, yeah.
yes,
Oh, really?
yes, yes,
I mean,
and that's why we
Well, I
keep
don't
we
know.
need
Yeah.
to keep poking them all the
no,
time and
this
see
is
what
Flint
they
Hills
have.
Regional Council.
Yeah, Flint Hills
So you can pick the grant?
Like even if it's not something they bring to you,
This
you
is
just use
what
them as a writer.
If you,
was
if you
my
come, yeah,
understanding of it.
yeah, because
That's what I thought.
I was talking to him about the problem that you were having with yours, with the water, the sewer grant. Not problem, but what we had in the state level. And she said that they have ways of helping us. They have people in the streets.
And that was
I mean, it wasn't
Gary,
with a writer.
I think.
Person.
Yeah. And he had come and talked, I think before, or the time that we were going for that sewer grant, and he had said, like, if we become members, that was that guy, which I think he's since retired. But we went with Ranson because they were.
What they said at the
Anyways.
end of that walk around, they said that they left their information. They would like to come and explain to the council and answer questions. And that's exactly what needs to happen. That way we can find out how we can use them to the best, because they have people that work for them. They have staff that work for them, and they want to keep them busy. And they have to show results for what the state gives them, and also to have. And so that's what we need to do. And so we are going to, well, they're going to get together with us and schedule it. We either a meeting or a work session, whatever works. And the people and we would need to have Justin there, and Mike would be great, because I'm sure
It'd
he'd
be a
have.
bad idea to just have that one subject, you know.
Yes.
To bring everybody in, waste more time, but like a work session, just
Yes.
one subject. to talk
Yes.
about.
Well, yes. And so we'll work on that until we can make sure everybody can get there. All the council and Mike, Stephanie, myself. And it'll of course, meeting because it's a work session, but
Oh, yeah.
so the public could listen. And, just, I don't know. And that's in the future soon. I think the sooner we get there, we may as well use them as much as we can. Lord knows we have needs. So that was the Brownsville thing. Huh? Oh,
Mine's gonna be real quick.
Tim.
The fire rings that I purchased, I'm gonna try to get a hold of that guy again, see if we can get some more. I also think that we need to try to acquire some more picnic tables. We have holes that we could put those into. The golf tournament that me and people at the lake are trying to arranging. That's really getting some ground. We're going to go somewhere with that. And just a heads up, I'm going to be asking for some sort of a donation. Haven't exactly decided what the city's role might be in that, but my first guess is whatever the tournament draws in, I might ask the city just throw some more money into that so that we can, if we get this many fish, maybe the city will throw in for this much more fish or whatever, because that's what the golf tournament is all, to raise money to stock the lake. And the other issue that I think that we need to take some action on. A couple years ago, there was a lady that camped out in Lake Wabaunsee all the time. She stayed out there for several days in a row. She did a lot of cleaning up, weed eating, painting, fixing benches, stuff like that. We decided that for every 4 days she would stay there, we would give her 1 day for free. The next year, there was somebody who had a bad situation, and I thought it was somebody on the other side of the lake was under hospice care or something. Anyway, we let them stay an extended period of time, and they got twisted into a 25% discount, which is not the same. That's a greater discount, because if they're staying for 6 days, it's anyway. That got misunderstood apparently by Deb. She has been giving everybody that stays there more than 3 days a 25% discount. Just
Tim, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were going to cover lake things. We need to save that for the lake meetings. Is this something?
no, this needs to be addressed right now.
No, actually, all right, and then I can answer something also to you. We've done that before. There was a guy that was working on a house and remodeling a house, and he stayed out there for a month, and he was given a 25%.
I only
I
know of
think-
2 times that we've given a 20.
That was at the
We
beginning.
gave somebody 1 day out of every 4 days, and the second time I remember we gave somebody a 25% discount. But to my knowledge, that's the only time that has been
It
done.
was case by case.
It has been case by case, and it's only been done twice in my time that I've been here. The point is, she's doing it every time, and it needs to stop immediately. I believe. If you two believe the same, then we need to make sure that Dolly has her do that.
I do know that one was a special case because he was trying to work here and was going to just stay for the whole month. And we gave him a discount. We did vote on that.
Mhm.
I remember that one.
Yes, because I asked.
But yeah, I'm
Stephanie to
not
look
in
at it.
favor for a discount for every, especially aren't we the ones with the camping fees? Don't those go back to us?
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, she doesn't
Well,
get to change that.
but we don't do shelter houses. We don't rent shelter houses.
No, I know, but
And there's
she doesn't
things
get to dictate our fees.
No, that's also one of the things that she requested is that we help her get things more clear. Because when I talked to her about it, she was telling me this. She had that conversation with Tim, and so I had Stephanie look this up, and that's what it was for that time. And I can remember 2 times. I'm kind of like Tim. We did it twice.
Right, but is she doing it every time?
She was, because she took that as she had several people, not just Carrie, her kids, but she had several people that stayed out there that long. And so a lot of times she looks at other campgrounds to see what they do. Like sometimes they make sure people move every 30 days. They can't sit in one place. And then they also give discounts. So I think it was just a misunderstanding.
Okay.
Because she'll do whatever the council wants. She just needs to know. And we know about it now. We can think about it, discuss it, and then we'll cover it at the lake meeting next time. I'll tell her to stop doing
I
it.
feel that we should make the decision right now that there's no more 25% discounts.
All right.
Unless it's a case by case thing, but like,
Well, I was going to say,
cause a holiday weekend,
that
somebody
thing.
camps Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Everybody camping is getting a 25% discount.
I think the construction deal was kind of an off-season thing too.
It was before we even really started booking. That's why we were okay with it. Because
Oh, wait
we
a
wouldn't
minute.
have normally booked it.
What did you say?
Anybody-
If you're coming on a holiday weekend, you're probably camping Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You don't get a
Because-
discount for that.
That's what she was
That's
doing.
what she was doing.
That's what
I thought
Tim's
you were
saying.
talking about 30-day discount.
No.
Three
days.
Over 3
3
days.
stays
Brian
over 3
wants to
days.
resolve it
Forget
now.
If
it.
anybody has stayed over 3 days, she's getting a 25% discount.
All right, I need to talk to her again because she thought you were talking about the 30-day thing that we did with that contractor.
But
She-
she still needs to get a.
She was very
approval.
clear when I spoke with her. She said if you're staying more than 3 days, you get a 25% discount. That's what she told me.
Okay.
All
Well-
I'm asking is that you make it clear with her that there are no 25% discounts unless the council votes on it.
Well, and that's not a hard thing to do.
And I'll move
That's
to
all
make
I
that
want.
official.
Well, I mean, it already is official technically.
Yeah,
I mean,
It
you're
is. We just need to clarify.
reaffirming it.
There you
I'll
go.
second this motion.
All in favor? Okay,
That is all.
Danke.
Bitte.
Very good. Very good. We're going to start speaking German. Okay.
Nine.
I know that one too. See, I'm from Minnesota. We speak German.
Marcia,
No work orders.
Terry,
Or no work orders.
speaking
Oh,
German.
okay. Now
I know, I heard you.
Now on the curbs and guttering, I liked what he did, and what I was wanting to know is if we could do some more, because we didn't do down at the senior center. And when we went down there for that meeting, you saw the guttering in front of the senior center. There's probably about 10, 15 foot there. Do you think that he would be interested in putting a bid on that?
he will, but when I talked to him, the initial thought was to wait until it built up so that he could do the max. You know what I mean? Because I had talked to Stephanie and I think it's about $3,000 a
I
month
should
is what
have
we're
printed
getting
that off. Yeah, I don't have
from when we
financial
talked. So
So
it's
the-
going to cost way more than $3,000 to be doing that. So you're going to have to wait at least 3 months. And it'd be better if we waited almost like a half a year to accrue several more thousands of dollars so that he comes out and it's cheaper and he can do more for the price.
Cheaper by the dozen.
If we can do larger pieces, it will be better work. Patching's great. Patching is not gonna last. I mean, everything that he bid there was on the west side of Main Street. We had him do this little one right out front because that's usually where I pull up. I probably broke it, but then my truck wants to camp in front of City Hall. So I'm like, can we fix that little spot?
Just
where
no
I was-
more trucks
You did that.
in the building.
But and that's the deal. Just real
Okay.
quick on that, he's pushed back. Like he's got several people that approached him while he was in town. He's working on stuff for him. He's been in contact with me on that too. He's probably into next year already. He
Yeah.
did excellent work for us.
Mhm.
The stamp job he
he
did at
was
the
very
Veterans
charming.
Memorial, that wasn't
He's
bid
very
as a
good.
stamp job. He wanted to do that just to be extra, have something nice, for what that was.
I think let's focus on a once a year
Yeah.
project, because
But-
really contractors don't want to come every.
All right, well, before I forget, because I have dropsy in the memory part here. He came into the store, he said this was a great community, everybody was great to him, they were great to his staff, brought them water and drinks and stuff, so he was and he said he'll be glad to come back. So obviously he's someone that we want to look at again. All right, if we're not gonna do anything, that's a dangerous situation down there at Senior Center. I'm an old gal, but I know that that's all messed up there, and I have a walking stick. There's other people that, if they're not watching what they're doing, do we need to clean it up and paint it so that people look at it, know that it's a mess?
Where's it all broken up?
Right in front of the Senior Center.
Right in front of it. Portion of that's a ramp. Like that curb is like a good portion of that was
When
like
I
the
walked out the
station,
door,
and-
it was right there. You can ask Justin, he was with me.
so
he was the one that
talking about
stopped.
a patch.
There was a long piece of guttering. Now, we're not talking about sidewalk, we're talking about this guttering. I mean, the sidewalk is crap, but the guttering is awful. It's gone where they park. And so, what can we do to make it a little safer? Nothing. Nobody's fallen that I know of. Nobody's reported it's fallen.
I will look at it. I don't know.
Would you mind?
I mean, there's things out there that we could try.
And also on the handicap ramp, which is wonderful, and all of the business guys love it when they push their pop up there for me and Becky. But Tiffany was watching an older person that we all know and love, and she was walking, talking to somebody. When she came to where the handicap part was, she stepped down and there's a draw, it goes like that. And so Jessica was wondering it was Julie business. Was wondering if we should put a yellow stripe around it to draw people's attention to the fact that they're approaching a change in the sidewalk.
You can do, and do you want to put a handicap space with like the van parking boom there, like on the correct
We don't
side
really
of
have
it?
any.
I don't
Yeah.
think,
I thought we
Handicap and
discussed
all,
this.
do we?
Can we put those parking spaces, Todd?
That's
I
the
thought that was
concern
highway.
because of state highway.
I thought we discussed that once before.
yeah,
Because
we discussed it, we
I
didn't
mean, there's
know.
no private parking. I mean, there would be no like private business parking, but
Yeah.
for a handicap purpose,
I'm not terribly worried about it because there's certain
It's
points where,
interesting.
because you're, I'm worried
It seems
about
odd that we don't have any handicap.
altering some things on the road that are permanent, but just painting it.
Just asking.
If they get mad, then what the hell?
So we didn't mean it.
Well, no, I mean, it's,
Want me to
Ask
call Jeff?
Well, I mean, I think if
Why don't
we painted it yellow and stuff, that would be efficient enough.
I do think a handicap.
we had to
spot
mark
would be
the
nice.
edges absolutely just for a visual, but you could actually paint a van parking, handicap van accessible, put a spot right there.
That was
Or you
one
could
thing I ran into
Whenever
with our
somebody
grant.
parks there, you could have Julie run over there and go, really? We'll get them to move.
I want to add something to this, since we're doing all this nice work on these curbs. Why don't we keep these motor vehicles off of the sidewalks?
Motor vehicles.
Oh,
There
you're
is
talking
one in
about one that
particular.
leads.
Now, I got two in
Oh.
particular.
Well, I know the one. that
I know
leads us
one of them
all.
was riding a little motorcycle up the handicap the other night, parking up there on the sidewalk.
I can take care of one. His name is Joe D. Mercer, and he drives his lawnmower up there.
Well, I didn't even think about it. You just ran it on your husband. That ain't the one I was
it's completely illegal.
You should
You
just
just
have
added
to
three to
Or
it.
just-
No, I'm
Do
proud
you
of
guys
him.
know about all
Now
the
I'm
issues
gonna
at
be
the
in
lake with the
trouble.
golf carts? The golf cart.
Oh yeah, they've
rules?
had to reissue. I saw that LWID thing. They had to reissue, like, we look at the rules of the road, because A, they're underage driving.
Did
Yeah.
you say you're
And
gonna
B,
I
they've
don't feel
had
sorry for 'em.
accidents recently.
Yeah.
That's something that I meant to point out on the lake talk also, is I think that we should let LWID, if they want to print up their rules for golf carts and whatnot, because they're having serious problems.
I
There was-
saw that little girl's.
Okay. Well, they have tried to reestablish their rules or reinstate whatever. I think that we should have those rules posted at the Bait House also. Because all kinds of people send their kids to the bait house
Probably should
on a golf cart that are way too young. Little
Yeah.
kids climbing like monkeys all over
That's
them.
been happening for
watched it.
years. I mean,
Yeah,
they've,
sure.
Oh, yeah.
they've waited till it was this
Holiday weekend, send your
exasperated
8-year-old out on a
problem.
golf
Now they
cart
wanna
with their
solve it.
friends. I mean,
Well,
that
you get
sounds
more and more
like great
population
parenting.
out there. It's going to be more and more of a problem.
They're just
Oh, I know that
smart
one
people.
little girl wasn't even 8 years old.
We had lawn darts.
Cause she sat on the edge of the seat and her foot barely could touch the pedal.
Leslie and I watched some kid about that size and age with a toddler
Yep.
climbing around and another kid in the
We had
passenger
a
seat.
Some of those drop-offs on the road are a little
Three
too
kids.
scary for
Hey,
me.
I was out there the other day with the
But
same
anyway, I
truck
don't
and
wanna
about
get
had
sidetracked
one
on
hit me head on and I was on my side of the road.
Exactly. I've been out there before to visit a friend and
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Scary. I mean, they're just lucky.
they go
nobody's
zooming down the middle of the
But-
road and they think it's just because they live there, it's their road. And you're not allowed to drive on it.
Terrifying.
But you're looking at 8-9 foot interior roads. I mean, it's not a normal deal. People need to be careful out there. People need to
Yeah.
look out for themselves.
But back
Okay.
to what I was thinking, isn't those hard on that sidewalk?
Oh,
Those
yeah.
vehicles, those motorcycles, and the ATVs?
They're not real motorcycles, are they?
No?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's a 4-wheeler.
Yes, they are, Mike. We're on
But-
video.
Yes, they are. The complaint I would have about that is when there's snow on the ground and you drive down the snow on the sidewalks, then by the next morning, when I go to do our kind due diligence to just push the majority off for the business owners, I have 2 spots of ice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that's my, as
Well,
far as
then-
hurting the country.
He's almost taken people out that are walking out of buildings also because he just zooms by on his
Oh,
phone.
really?
And
I
I've
haven't
watched
quite
it.
decided why
And
he's
someone
doing
comes out of the
that.
store.
You know, he used to do it
We
in the
just
back
put a
roads and
temporary
stuff.
post in
I
the
don't know why he
sidewalk. for-
decided to do that.
I put a trap door.
I would like to see a handicap spot. That was one issue I had with that grant that they did
Spikes.
for the music in the park was that we have no handicap parking at the park. I know
Oh,
it
we
seems
do now. I
silly.
saw it.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? It's beautiful. So if you don't want my really attractive artwork ever again,
I thought it was.
it's awful, Tim. Plus, you can just put a sign in real easy. So maybe by the handicap ramp or something. I don't know where the best, but whatever. We actually have a
Just
sidewalk now.
Send something to Jeff. I'm sure that.
I guess ask the question,
Right.
but it would be
at
nice
least
to know.
Seeing as how he lives like a quarter of a mile from me and my daughter-in-law's father, I'll talk to Jeff.
I don't think one spot's gonna kill us.
So what you're wondering about is signs on the highway, Main Street, can we put a
We're not
handicap
putting signs, we're just painting
paintings?
a
So
parking
Van
spot.
parking.
Ask the question, who's liable down there if somebody falls and gets hurt?
Where at?
Senior Center.
At the park or the senior center?
Senior Center.
Senior center.
In the senior center is different from on the sidewalk. Well, it depends on what
He's talking about
causes it.
sidewalk.
Yeah, the sidewalk, if it's caused by a crack that's larger than 2 inches, I think,
What about
they're not liable at all. But if it's smaller, they may be.
What
But
about-
natural conditions aren't, if it's caused by natural conditions, it's not negligence. If
No, I'm
it's,
talking about
It's fine.
someone like me who's not paying attention to what I'm doing, and I don't see that there's that dip there, and I trip over and fall.
we're a contributory negligent state, so your percentage of fault will be assessed if that's ever an
All right,
issue.
so again, who's liable for the other percentage that if I'm responsible for some of it, who's responsible for the other part of it?
Well, it would be the city if there are conditions that would indicate that the city was negligent.
Such as the city being aware of a problem but not doing anything to correct it.
No,
that
no.
would be considered
No, not necessarily, no.
It what happened in Topeka, that business that I worked at, so that's what I was concerned with, because we had curbings in our parking, and we did not have them striped. And a woman who happened to be on medication, no less, came from her doctor's office to the post office, got out of her car, went in, when she came out, she tripped over that curbing. And the government paid for every bit of it. So that's all I'm asking, just for clarification. If we're aware that there's a problem,
And ideally, it would be our liability insurance probably where the
No,
government's
it's,
probably
it's-
self-insured.
Well, yeah, we have an insurance policy that we cover.
And their lawyers.
Yeah.
And our wonderful lawyers.
Well, I'm very glad to turn it over to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to be negligent. I'll look at it and see if there's something we can do. Even, I mean, if it's in the guttering and there's something we can do, we just got, I forgot about that too, a fresh load of cold mix to do some patching and stuff. We got some major holes around town, some more Band-Aids on bullet wounds. But, and if there's something we can do with that to even things out, absolutely. Just check it out. Now, the curb, can't really shape curb out of asphalt, but we'll take a peek at it.
Thank you. And what I had on there for parking was Becky and I have a lot of business, and sometimes it takes up the whole side of the street. And Carolyn Zerby has recovered. Oh, I shouldn't have said her name. We have a really nice lady that recovered and is doing real well. And I apologize to her because she had to go clear down by the IGA and walk up. And she said, it's good for me. I should walk. She's 80 some years old. Then we have another lady that's 84. And so I was wondering if we could put a sign by Becky in my place so there could be a pickup delivery. Like most people that come in and grocery shop at my place is 20 minutes. Most people that pick up food at Becky's go in, get it, and leave. But we can't do that. Dang it.
It's not a private parking lot. I mean, if it's a private parking lot, you can do anything you want to. It's the right of way of the road. So.
Well, you see, everybody would leave a spot if they knew it was going to be for our cowboy and for a couple of our little old ladies. And not that I count
Until
myself
those couple
that.
nights a year when the semi has to, the trucks that haul the
I
cattle.
take care of that. I had no problem taking care of that. They moved right away. But they can stay there at night until I get there. I drug them out of the restaurant and said, move it. But I was nice about it. I gave them a pop. I didn't bribe them or anything. I just, thank you for being nice. They apologized and moved it up a side street.
Could you do it in the alley? I guess not. They probably
God,
couldn't do that.
No.
I'm just
no.
asking.
There are gas
No.
meters in those alleys.
Okay.
Most of the
alright.
time,
For the
they,
semis to go down our alley.
Just
You
checking.
want the semi to go down the alley?
No, not the semi.
Say that is,
Oh,
they're
that's
not
right.
even
The
wide
initial
enough.
question was the pickup.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
all right.
sorry. I thought you meant the semi.
No, I don't
I
even know
thought
what
you
you're
meant-
talking about.
All right. So
Cow trucks.
if I can't put it there,
Good
if
time
I
to make a
put it
comment.
on
Right.
my store.
Sure.
Just to make a suggestion.
I didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah,
Cattle trucks.
sure.
Where I was talking about the.
As long
No
as I put
problem.
it on my shopping cart thing.
Yeah.
All right, because I think if people knew it, they would just leave us, because I only want a spot.
I understand.
All right, I'll do that.
Do what?
And then
I-
you can't, nobody can, people can park there
Can't
regardless.
enforce it.
Yeah, they can still park there, but they might think about it and they'll go maybe down another 15 foot. I just trying to incorporate something smart.
Like street sign? Could you just do a little street sign?
Well,
I'll
if
make
you
them, I
did
can
a
put it on my
handicap
shopping.
parking, those people would probably qualify for that if they had the credentials.
There you
They
go.
could probably get.
They'll get a placard.
Well, you know, you're right there. And the library's pretty close.
I've been wrong yet.
Let's make a list of where he has been.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Next
dear.
meeting. All right, well, all right. It's, this, I
I'd
can
say
just
number one
use
would
that.
be showing up tonight.
Yeah, contradict the boss. How's that?
I move to adjourn.
That is, you're all right.
Brett, you don't
I
have
mean,
to
that would cover it. We can work on
last
it.
minute.
Talk to Jeff.
I think we're done.
We made a motion to adjourn.
My second.
You guys really let me ask for that. I've never get to ask for it. All in favor? See, my goal was 8 o'clock. It is 3 minutes after.
There we go. It has been a long time.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
That's right.
That's right. Oh, yeah, shut up tonight.
I'm sorry about that. I thought we were talking
I didn't
about
mean you. I meant the
You're
audience.
talking about
Ta-da.
I don't even remember having that.
My baby might love.
No, so
Oh,
I will talk to her tomorrow.
All I want to do is just make sure that it's
mine's bad.
And she said what she really would like is for when we meet.
TV.
Your statement about the fire.
That's why you got signed. I think you're